right. A proportion, however, is really, if you can think about it, two ratios set equal to each other. So we can think about that as A over B equals C over D. We don't like strictly variables. 2 over 3 equals x over 5. So the question that I come up afterwards is, what do we do to solve this? What have we learned from the past that we can use to solve this? Hannah? Yes, we use cross multiplication. Two ratios set equal to each other. Use cross multiplication. All right, so please put ratio and proportion in your note cards. Do that later on your own time, okay? Because we're going to keep moving. All right. So we have something called the geometric mean. And what the geometric mean is, it keeps the two fractions, the two ratios, equal to each other, okay? And the geometric mean is basically, when we cross multiply, we would get b squared is equal to ac, and b equaling the square root of ac is called the geometric means. It's what keeps your proportions equal. And so that's for your note cards too. All right, so we'll start easy. If we were going to solve the following, and yes, you need to show your work, because of course I will never give them to you this easy. They will be more intricate with a lot of algebra, okay? So this one would be cross multiplying 28 is equal to 5x, which means x is equal to 28 fifths, or the representation of that as a mixed number would be 5 and 3 fifths. Thank you. Either or is fine. Either or. Okay. Here we have y plus 2 over 3 equals y over 2. And so when we cross multiply, we really get 2 times y plus 2 equals 3y. And so what do we need to do? And so we get 2y plus 4 equals 3y. And so y then becomes 4. You don't have to do all your work on paper. Some of the stuff you should be getting better to do in your head. But I will tell you, if you are making stupid mistakes, then start writing all your work down again. You do need to show me your cross multiplication, but you don't have to tell me, for example, what 7 times 4 is. You can just go ahead and write 28 down. Okay? All right, the next one, when we cross multiply, gives me 10s minus 5 equals 4s. And so 10s minus 50 equals 4s. Negative 50 is equal to negative 6s. And so what do we get? S is equal to 56, which is 25 thirds, which is 8 and 1/3. Okay? All right, next page. All right, copy of a photo of the 3.5 by a quarter of or an eighth of an inch when looking at the length and the width. So this is my 3.5 to 1/8, where this is the length and this is the width. The actual width is 30 feet. What is, this should say, the actual length? And so we would set up a proportion, wouldn't we? We would want to write over to the side length over width so that we keep our two fractions or our proportion constant. Okay. All right, so we would say 3.5 over 1/8 is equal to, what would I write over here? Over 30. And so I get 1/8 x is equal to 30 times 3.5, which is going to be 105. And that means x is equal to 840. Now, why would I take off a half a point if all you did was tell me 840? No, I showed enough work. That's enough work. What am I forgetting? Sarah, I'm forgetting my feet. So if there are units in the problem, make sure there are units in the answer. All right. 12 inches, 3 yards. Notice that we can do some conversions, can't we? If you can convert them into the same unit, do it. Doesn't matter if I go from inches to yards or from yards into inches, but one way is definitely easier than the other. Which way would I want to go? Would I want to take my inches into yards or take my yards into inches? Okay, so we're going to say that's 12 inches over, well, how many yards or how many inches are in a yard? 36, so 3 times 36 gives me 108. So this is 108 inches. And so 12 over 108, what does that simplify down to? 1 over 9. Are the units necessary anymore? No, because we have inches over inches. And if we have the same unit over the same unit, aren't they going to cancel? Okay, so we would just say that that simplifies down to 1 over 9. If I wanted to write this differently, I could say 1 to 9, can't I? Or 1 to 9. So here's the kind of the golden rule. If it's given to you as a fraction, give me the answer as a fraction. If it's given to you with colons, then give it to me the answer in colon form. And if it's given to you with the word 2 in there, then write the answer in the same way in simplest form. Yes?
With this problem, couldn't you put 12 inches into 1 foot?
And I could do 3 yards is how many feet? So yeah, you could. You could go, as long as you recognize your units for the numerator would need to be the same as the units for the denominator, you will get the same answer. Sarah? Then you would need to keep it. So if your units would be like inches over seconds, there's no way we can make inches and seconds into each other, and so the units need to be put onto the answer. But if the units can be made into the same form, then do it and reduce it, and those units will then cancel. Okay, the ratio of an angle in a triangle is 1 to 2 to 3. Find the measure of each angle. So I am saying let x equal my angle. So that means one of them is going to be 1 times x. What's another one going to be? 2 times x. And what's the third one going to be? 3 times x. Now, how do I find the value of those angles? Allie? So 1x plus 2x plus 3x equals 180 degrees. Great. So 6x is 180. So x is 30 degrees. So what are my angle measures? Well, one is 30 degrees, one is 60 degrees, and one is 90 degrees. All right. So remember, we said the geometric mean is a comparison. A over B equals B over C, where this is your geometric mean. So if I'm saying find the geometric mean between 3 and 6, I'm letting A and C be the 3 and the 6. So this is 3 over B equals B over 6, or B squared is equal to 18. And traditionally, when we take the square root in an equation, we always think that we get a positive or a negative. But the geometric mean is always going to be positive. So we only want the positive answer when we're talking about the geometric mean. So the square root of 18, which of course cannot be given to me in decimal form because I want you to work with square roots. And so what would that simplify down to? 3 root 2. Perfect. Okay, are we good about that? Mm-mm. Nope. That's what the geometric mean does. Is that it? Okay. So, test corrections first.